Getting a grip. Getting a grip is always so much fun. It's the first thing that we have to understand is that when we're overwhelmed, there's a reason. There's a reason we're overwhelmed. We have overcommitted ourselves in some way. And the overcommitment may not be task related. It may not be that we have too many tasks on the plate in front of us. It may be that we have overcommitted emotionally. And we have too many emotions that we have failed to process. And so if that's the case, then the key to getting out of overwhelm is to sit down and give yourself space to relax and to process whatever emotions are going on. Because oftentimes we'll throw ourselves into overwhelm with activity to avoid dealing with a painful emotion. Another reason is clearly, you know, the first one that people think of, which is the task-oriented. It's the, I've decided that I'm going to be Superwoman today and I'm going to commit to 50 billion things and I wanted to say yes to everybody and it all sounded so exciting and so enthusiastic and so fabulous to do, and I just didn't want to say no to anybody. Well, okay, so the first thing I would say to you is start saying no. Call somebody back and say, you know, I said I could do this and I can't. I'm really sorry, and I'll see what I can do to help you find somebody to do it for you, but I can't do it. Start clearing your plate of things that are not important. And then the second thing is sit down, put everything in priority order. Don't think about doing it yet. You're not doing it yet. You're just putting it in priority order. And then the only thing you think about doing is item number 1 on the list. You take everything else and you put it aside. And then item number 1 is the only thing you look at, because the minute you start to macro your life when you're overwhelmed, the minute you start looking at the big picture again, you go straight into shutdown again. So don't go into the big picture, just stay with the one item that you're going to get done. Get that done and then have a little happy dance at the end. Give yourself a little support and a little excitement and a little pat on the back for actually getting it accomplished, because if you don't do that, then all you're doing is just sort of beating yourself up over and over and over again to get through to the next page.
Tell us a little bit about the difference between surrendering and releasing.
This is one of my favorite topics. We talked about this.
Mine too, yes.
Yeah, we talked about this before the show, and I love the spiritual practices that people are always going into. I'm often at like drumming circles and things like that, and people have what they call these releasing fires, and it's throw what you don't want into the fire and it will be transformed. And you know, I got to tell you, I've done this so many times. I have thrown stuff into that fire over and over and over again, and it never goes anywhere. It comes home with me every time. You know, either I'm really bad at it or it just doesn't work. Okay, releasing is something we do with emotions. We let go of emotions, we process them, but that's the only way to let go of them, is to actually feel them. You can't just throw it in the fire and say, oh, I didn't have to feel it, I threw it in the fire, it's fine. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to actually feel it. And the same thing works with any issues that you've got going on. You really need to actually own whatever it is that you want to let go of. Nothing is ever released until it's owned and integrated. So stop trying to throw stuff away. If you keep trying to throw stuff away, you're just going to end up delaying the work that you're trying to do. Just own it and integrate it. Now, there's a difference between that and surrendering and letting go. And letting go is a process of allowing that the universe knows more than you do, which is the same conversation we were having earlier. It's that whole concept that we don't know everything, and it's surrendering to the fact that the universe is having a specific experience in your path. It's got this in your path. It is what it is. It's a process of accepting. It's saying, you know, here I am, this is who I am, this is what is going on in this moment, this is what it is, and allowing it to be that and just surrendering to it rather than trying to control it. It's kind of like what I refer to as drawing the big red circle at the bottom of your feet on the map that says you are here. The point that I keep trying to tell people is when your life speeds up, it's really important that you not try to ground. And it's an easy visual. You're sitting in a moving train going at 1,000 miles a minute. Do you want to stick a big metal pole through the bottom of the train and into the ground in that moment and hold on to it for dear life while the train goes boom? Yeah, it's really not a good idea.
So to give us, for those of people who don't know, tell us your description of grounding.
Okay, so grounding is the process of taking your energy and connecting it into the earth. And for some people that also includes connecting it into the sky. It's an opening of your energy to the universal forces, to the energy of the earth. And it's great when you're not moving 1,000,000 miles a minute. When you're moving 1,000,000 miles a minute, it is counterproductive.
Okay.
So the key there instead is to center. And centering is the process of going within. Instead of opening your energy to the outside universe, it's the process of going within. You can find the energy of the universe either by going out or by going in. They both go to the same place. So it's just a matter of how you choose to connect. And it's much more appropriate to connect going within when you're going 1,000,000 miles a minute, because it does two things for you. One is that it's not putting the pole through the bottom of the moving train. And second is that it forces you to figure out how you're feeling and what's going on with you in order to find your place of center, so that you can move through whatever emotions are showing up as a result of the high-speed plummet through space that you're going through. So, and centering, I'm going to do a little poem for you guys later on in the show, but centering is, think about it this way: if you're on a roller coaster, you don't hold on to stay balanced in the center of the roller coaster. You got your hands up in the air, because when your hands are up in the air, that's when you're more centered. It's when you're trying to be centered in your body. If you're doing this, you're trying to hold on to the train instead of being centered in your own body. So if you keep that in mind, that's the difference. The best way when you're in the midst of overwhelm and you're in the midst of massive change, one of the things that happens is that your energy goes in so many directions at once during the course of a day. And you've got so much information coming in and so much information going out and things that you have to accomplish in 40 different directions. So to take time at the end of the day and just sit back, close your eyes, even if it's just when you just get into bed, close your eyes and just quietly think about all the things that you put your energy into for the day. Now, you're not thinking about them, you're just thinking about what they are, so that you can say, I'll take the energy back from that now, and I'll take the energy back from that now, and I'll take the energy back from that now. You're not thinking about what happened, you're not thinking about what's going to happen. All you're doing is saying, I'll take my energy back from all these places, so that my energy can be in one place, so that when I sleep, I will be whole. And when I wake up, I can put my energy back in any or all of the same directions that it was in last night, but for the moment I'm sleeping, I can sleep whole. And it accomplishes two things. One is that it allows you to consciously choose where you put your energy each morning, and whether or not you want to put it back in those places. And the second thing that it accomplishes is that it allows you to sleep, because you're not thinking about all those things, because you already took your energy back. Right. And if you're not very good at it yet, because it's a practice like anything else, then the other thing is to keep a notebook and a pen next to your bed. When you do that, the key there is, if you start to think about something, you go, oh, I need to do this, just pick up the notebook, write it down, and put it back down so you can let it go. Because the key in the process of change is you must get enough sleep. You must eat well, and that means not chips or cookies or ice cream or whatever. It means eat good, healthy food that feeds your body, because you're going through a lot of stress. And high stress means that you need to really feed your body well. And you have to sleep, because if you don't sleep, then you're really not good for anything. The fact is that excitement and fear are just a half step apart from each other. And so you can either be excited or you can be afraid, and it's entirely up to you as to how you choose to do that. When I'm afraid, I often will look at that and say, okay, I'm afraid, my heart's pounding, I'm breathing shallower, I'm like, okay, I'm a little afraid. And I'm like, okay, how can I be excited? Okay, well, I'll just shift it just slightly and I'll be excited about it. It's a choice. It's totally a choice. And so I just choose to be excited rather than to be afraid. Because especially when life speeds up, and that was the whole topic of conversation for today, when life speeds up, things start coming fast and furious. Oh my gosh, our manifestations, they just come in. We start to feel powerful. We start to freak out because we're powerful. And oh my gosh, what does it mean? And da, 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 you know, I don't know about you, but I've shut down manifestations many times because suddenly it was, you know, it was all going too well.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, you know, it's got to slow down because, you know, I don't know what's going to happen if everything I want happens.